right, the other story that has been on our minds. What happens when a young contestant from Gujarat appeared on KBC? If you haven't, let's give you a quick snapshot. A young contestant appeared on KBC, Kaun Banega Karodpati. The episode wasn't about prize money or applause that made headlines. It was about the behavior and rather the attitude of this little kid. Now, I hate to put that kid out and isolate him. He's just a child. But this entire debate compelled us to take up this issue. His sharp responses, many are calling it rudeness towards a legendary actor and also the host, Amitabh Bachchan, of course. Now, that his behavior, what he said, ignited an entire firestorm online. Within hours, social media turned into a battleground of opinions. The child is being trolled mercilessly, of course, and his parents are being dragged into the crossfire. Let's first listen in to what is it that has started and sparked off this entire debate. So what was that? Was it overconfidence? Was it bad behavior? Was it bad parenting? At the end of the day, he's just a child. Every time he made those remarks, you saw what the audience did. They clapped, they laughed, they thought, "Bachcha hi to hai." And at the end of the day, we are also not trying to troll him. We're not trying to ask questions against that child. We're just trying to understand what this controversy is all about. Is it fair to blame a child or their parents? Here are some of the big questions that we've got on the program today. Now, do modern children actually lack respect, or are they just more vocal? Is that a point? Another thing that we had in our mind, can rude behavior in kids be part of normal growth? Should we discount it? Then the important one, can overconfidence in kids be a sign of anxiety perhaps? Is there something, is it their shield of some sorts? And then the question, is parenting the biggest influence on a child's behavior? Should parents be blamed for a child's public behavior over there? Well, that's what we're asking, but let's get in our expert now. Joining us now is Harpreet Singh Grover. He's the founder of The Curious Parent. He's done a lot of research on parenting, has a very popular Instagram and YouTube handle as well. Harpreet, I really don't want to discuss this story. I feel like एक बच्चा ही तो है, गलती है या bad behavior है या जो भी है, we shouldn't be trolling him. At the end of the day, kids are a product of what they see at home, perhaps circumstances. Parents are also a product of what's happening around them. But this one has got people talking to perhaps understand that, was it projected at Mr. Amitabh Bachchan? That's my first question to you. Was this bad behavior just projected on screen? Or do you think the way he's acting out, it's just his regular, everyday personality?
I think first thing I want to say what you said earlier again, that the first time the child was rude, what did everybody do? They clapped.
Yeah.
So before we blame a child, before we judge a child, we have to see as society what behavior we are encouraging. If I was the 10-year-old in that seat, and if I do something, everybody claps, I am bound to do it again. I have no way to know what the real nature of the child is, right? There is just not enough information. I do know that being rude, whether it is against Amitabh Bachchan or against you or me or against...
But it is rude according to you. It's not overconfidence. This is rude behavior.
I think we are getting caught up in words. We want to categorize this as either rude or overconfidence, like we do with a lot of things, categorizing them as right or wrong. That is what you're looking at, right? Rude or overconfidence, wrong or right. And I want to say that choices have consequences. And if the child behaves like this, or anybody behaves like this in a normal world, it will have consequences. That is how I see it. Now, I also see that if you consider the child like a plant, right? Now, if you have a plant in your house and the plant is not growing well, what do? Do you start blaming the plant like social media is doing all over, that this child is rude, oh, this child is so and so? Or actually, we need to help the plant. We need to take that pot, move it to sunlight, give it more water, and help that plant. That is what is required.
But, there are a lot of theories emerging online, Harpreet, and one of them is that Amitabh Bachchan got clearly ticked off by this child's behavior. There is a scene where the way he's answering, he looks at his producer probably, or looks at somebody who's from the show. And then the next question is particularly a hard one. where he gets it wrong and goes back home with no money at all. So
Sure.
the entire thing, I'm not saying I claim to know what really happened, but this clearly seems to be the case, at least in this episode. You also see the parents there, very unassuming, regular middle class parents, no? मतलब उनके घर में क्या हो रहा होगा, क्या वो अपने घर में encourage कर रहे होंगे, अरे हमारा बच्चा तो gifted है, क्या है, उसको सब पता है. Is that the fault of parents to sort of take a lot of pride and let the child know that they're good at something? Is that something we should be careful about?
I think what you're talking about is privilege, whether it comes in the form of knowledge, whether it comes in the form of having a car or a BMW. They're both essentially the same thing. And if we become proud of something that we have or something that as parents feel our child has, then yes, we can encourage this sort of behavior. If I was the parent and if this behavior was regular, I would find a way to talk to the child about it. That is for sure. From the little bit that I saw, the parents genuinely seemed like nice people. And I would also want to add one more thing. I don't know whether all of this is scripted for TRPs, whether the child was given that you have to speak like this. I have no idea. You have none of us have any idea, right? And I can also
Could be
tell
the
you,
case.
sorry?
Who knows?
Actually, you might
I'm
know
saying,
more.
who knows? Could be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you that before coming for this show, because you told me a couple of hours ago that this is going to happen, I actually went to Sony Live and I saw the entire piece. And, the reel, the video circulating online make it look more rude than it actually was. The episode is slower. It's like a stream of water is going and suddenly we put the video in 5x, it becomes a flood. So that is also something I think all of us, which get access to so much of social media, should be careful. But I fully agree with the first point you made, which is, this is a child. This child has his full life ahead to change, and this child is product of the genes and the environment. These two. So whether there is something in the genes which makes the child more out there, we don't know, or it is because of the environment that the child has been given by the parents, we don't know, or is it the TRPs? We don't know.
We don't know. But Harpreet, last question then. For any parent watching this right now to say, हमारा बच्चा तो ऐसा नहीं करता, हमारे बच्चे ने ऐसे करा होता तो हम तो बिल्कुल ठीक कर देते. I don't think a lot of people even realize which path the kid is on, because we all look at our own kids with tinted glasses, no? We look at our kid as so much out of love, out of affection, as a piece of us. It's hard to find faults. But if somebody did spot, what would be your learning? What would be your takeaway from this episode?
For a parent who's watching this,
Yeah.
I'm saying let's assume that the child behaves like this normally in their daily life. Then I would say that one, this child, and if your child has any such negative behavior that you feel as a parent is negative, your child is 10 years old, one, I want to tell you that still you have a lot of time to be able to change this. Choices have consequences. If you let the child go on this path, the child will find out much later the consequences of the path that you have allowed the child to proceed. I also want to tell that if your child is young, the younger the child is, the easier it is to course correct. So if whether it is picking your nose to whether it is, twirling your fingers to talking like this to hitting somebody else, all of this, just by ensuring the child is not overstimulated, not seeing too much screen, getting enough sleep, getting enough outdoor play.
Yeah.
If these three things we can ensure, that is enough for a child.
All right. Harpreet, thank you so much for joining us. I wish I could just go to the parents right now of the kid and give them a big tight hug. Say ki, all is not gone wrong. The world is against you and your family right now, but there is always a way in which you can course correct. Not everybody is perfect, and there's always a second chance over there.